This week, Mike Braun's campaign announced they'd collected 3 times the number of signatures needed to get on the ballot for governor, as this week marked the start of the filing period for candidates who have to collect 500 verified signatures in each of the state's congressional districts. This week, I spoke with fellow candidate for governor Curtis Hill. How are those efforts going for your campaign, and what's your reaction to this news from the Braun team this week?
Well, I guess if that's what they have time to do, that's great. From my standpoint, we're doing fine. We've got more than enough signatures to move forward. We're in the process right now of getting those certified in the various counties, so we have the biggest program in place. We're going to be on the ballot in February.
That's the deadline in February to file for the May primary. So who will it be next year delivering the state of the state and succeeding Governor Holcomb, and what impact will his address this week have at the State House here in the coming year? Let's bring in our panel right now as we welcome in this week here in studio former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, Robin Winston, 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign, Tony Samuel, UIndy political science professor, Dr. Laura Wilson, and Peter Blanchard, State House reporter with our partners at the Indianapolis Business Journal. It's great to have you all with us this week. Laura, I'll start with you as we get reaction to the governor's State of the State address, his last address. And next year, the new governor, whoever it is, could have a very different vision for the state of Indiana.
Well, I think Eric Holcomb has been very consistent in his 2 terms, 8 years serving as governor, and as he rounds to home, you heard everything in the state of the state here, right? You heard about economic development, which has been a cornerstone, infrastructure, education. You even got the sports puns in there.
They always do.
You always do, right? Whoever takes over and succeeds him, I think will have a very different vision. Yeah. But I would say in the State of the State, it was very consistent for what we expect to see for Holcomb. And even though we know we're going to have a short legislative session this year, he outlined, I think, a pretty ambitious and impressive agenda that he's going to try and lay on.
Peter, what kind of session might this be? The governor's last session, as we mentioned, we're already seeing some interesting proposals, including a bill to undo a measure they passed last year for an economic development district in downtown Indy that you reported on.
That's right. During last year's session, there was some language slipped into the 2023 budget that allowed for the city of Indianapolis to create this taxing district that would help pay for a low-barrier homeless shelter as well as ongoing cleanliness and safety efforts. We're already seeing some State House Republicans trying to undo that legislation. It's going to be interesting to see whether that gets any momentum. I spoke with House Speaker Todd Huston this week. He said he's interested in looking at that bill, which was filed by Representative Julie McGuire, Republican from Indianapolis. You also see Republicans talking about wanting to address low child literacy rates. We're also talking about ways to boost the child care workforce, and it's going to be an interesting session, to say the least.
A short session, but a lot packed into it, potentially. Tony, meantime, a number of state lawmakers, like Mike Speedy, are already looking past this session toward a possible run for Congress with these 2 big retirements this week. Greg Pence and Larry Bucshon, already the race is on to replace them.
Yeah, you had Nick Saban leaving Alabama with the Washington coach maybe going there. Who knows about Jim Harbaugh?
And then Nick Saban has been rumored. Could he run for Senate maybe in Alabama?
Sorry, just kidding. To answer your question, yeah, I think that those Pence and Bucshon announcements pretty much took a lot of people by surprise. Maybe Greg Pence, there's rumors about a reason for him looking at a statewide,
maybe joining a ticket, sure. Potentially, we'll see.
Sure, but that opens the door, and then you'll see a domino effect. You'll see a chain reaction with some state legislators, maybe some mayors or former mayors, others that have some name ID jumping in the race. So that'll be interesting at the State House to watch what state legislators might be headed up against each other to get one of those congressional seats.
Robin, what do you make of these retirements coming at a time where there's a lot of chaos in Congress? And Greg Pence referenced that in our interview. A lot of infighting, and again this week, about whether or not they can avoid a government shutdown later this month and next month.
Well, they're in disarray again, and they're in charge. Now this time they're trying to fight against their own speaker, who one member, remember, can call them down for a vote on whether or not they remain as speaker.
And we've seen that happen.
So we've seen that and then they fight longer than Ali and Frazier on rounds to determine who's going to be the new speaker when they do pick somebody. I believe that the announcements this week caught everybody off guard. They caught our party off guard, but now we have to get together and decide what kind of candidates will run in those districts. Keep your eye on a couple of mayors in the 8th district, and then in the 2nd district, I think we're going to get a good solid candidate.
We'll see what happens. Laura, meantime, the Iowa caucuses come Monday night. We saw Haley and DeSantis on the debate stage this past week with former President Trump holding his own town hall. What are the expectations here coming into Iowa and New Hampshire about a week from now, which could potentially be a different story than Iowa?
Well, the polling has been very consistent. Trump still leads, and most recent polling shows him at 54%, but DeSantis actually fell to Haley more recently at only 13%. She has 20%. It seems very clear that this is Donald Trump's to lose. And as we look at Iowa and then New Hampshire, I think that's really the trajectory, the path that we're on right now.
Tony, the former president, is expected to win in Iowa, as Laura mentioned, but should he be concerned if he loses New Hampshire? Chris Christie out now. Some of his voters could potentially go toward Nikki Haley, who's been closing the gap there in the polls in New Hampshire.
You mean the less than 1% voters that Chris Christie had?
Well,
could
he had
go
more
to
than that in New Hampshire.
Did he? Well,
Yeah.
I don't think they would have shown up, but we'll see. No, Trump will win Iowa. The margin might not be as huge. It'll be huge, but it'll be big, but not because of the weather. And then I think he takes New Hampshire pretty easily, and then he's just rolling along South Carolina and Super Tuesday and all that. I think after New Hampshire, you probably see maybe DeSantis get out. Nikki Haley will, go forward to South Carolina. I think the other story to look at is in Iowa, to see how well Vivek does. There's talk about him maybe finishing as high as second place.
It's certainly been an interesting week. We saw that hot mic moment before Christie's speech and heard Adam Renz reporting there on Mike Pence not being ready to endorse Nikki Haley potentially. So, Robin, how do you see all of this from across the aisle now as Democrats prepare for another contentious election year?
Well, first off, we had Biden staff in our office this week getting his petitions ready to be on the ballot here, so he'll be on the ballot here. We're going to do well in Iowa. We're going to do well in New Hampshire. I and some others are going to South Carolina to make sure he does well there. I think it's going to be a tremendous opportunity for the president to compare and contrast. One thing people didn't talk about this week, the Quinnipiac poll came out, and Joe Biden is ahead in Pennsylvania, which is a crucial battleground state, and that's a tremendous trend for us.
Peter, Robin mentioned the primary here in Indiana, and it certainly feels like our state won't be all that relevant this year with our primary in May, although in the past some state lawmakers have proposed moving it up in the calendar so that our state is more of a factor.
That's right, and very rarely is Indiana kind of involved in a significant way in the presidential primary process. We did see in 2016, Indiana's primary did have some impact when, you had Ted Cruz forced to drop out of the race after the 2016 primary. But, all indications are, this is a done deal. Indiana isn't going to be a significant player here as far as, determining the Republican nominee.
But I know a lot of political reporters and probably political science professors who would like to see us maybe a little earlier on the calendar, right, Laura?
I would love that. It would certainly make it more competitive and interesting for our state, but I recognize the party dynamics and other things that would make it very difficult to change.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, part of our interview with the new mayor who's breaking barriers in Lawrence. Stick around, we're back with more right after this.